ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this lovely guide video that I'm going to do, which is going to show you how to play Football Manager 24 with a custom database that lets you play as Grantham Town. So, as many of you know, the winter update has recently been dropped by Sports Interactive, which has updated a lot of data within the game, which means the current 2024 Grantham Town squad and staff list has been added to the game. However, with Football Manager as it is standard out of the box, you can't play down at the level that Grantham Town are at unless you have a custom database. So let me show you how to download and install this database. Okay, so first things first, you're going to need the link to download the database. So you open up your browser of choice. In the description of the video, you will find a link to the Grantham Town database. Now, if we download this, and we could put this wherever we want, we'll put it into downloads, as that will be most people pretty much download it. Now, this database is built on and based on the England Level 10 database by Lionel Messi, which has been available for Football Manager for a large number of years now. This is obviously over on the Sports Interactive website and shows you the levels of which you can actually go down to and play as with this database. This database, like I say, I've used it ever since Football Manager 18 to be able to play as Grantham Town. It's perfectly safe to download and install. And certainly from my Google Drive, it's perfectly safe to download and install. Virus-free, no risk to you. There is just a couple of tweaks to the database from the one that you get from this guy, because there's a couple of data inaccuracies, which I have fixed myself using the pre-game editor. But once you've downloaded the database, we need to get Windows, obviously, Explorer opened up on your PC. You need to go to the downloads where you have got your database downloaded, your FMF file. We're going to copy that. Now, normally for most people playing on PC or Mac, typically you want to then go into your My Documents folder. You want to scroll down till you find a folder called Sports Interactive. You want to go into there. You then want to find your Football Manager 24 folder and go into there. You want to look for a folder that says Editor Data. You want to go into that. And then you want to right click and obviously paste the file in there. And that is all you need to do to install the database so you can use it. However, for me, it's a little bit different because on my PC, I actually have my FM24 data folder on a different hard drive. I have it moved within the preferences of the game to a bigger hard drive because obviously I use graphics packs, which take up a lot of space. So I will go to that folder wherever I choose to have my Football Manager 24 data saved and stored. I will go into there, Editor Data, and again, make sure it's right-click, pasted, and stored in there. Once that is done, that is everything you need to do. So then what you can do, ladies and gents, is you can go back to Steam, and you can click play on Football Manager 24, which will obviously launch and bring Football Manager 24 to your PC. And then we need to create the game. And again, I'll show you how to do this using, make sure you select the database and you load the new database. And also the options and things that you need to configure when you are doing the database installation. Again, most people who obviously have played Football Manager know how to start a career, know how to start a save, know how to do everything like that. But obviously, depending on people's PCs, and the specs of their PCs or laptops or whatever you're playing this on, things can be a little bit. You might need to just tweak things a little bit to make sure you are getting the best options for you. So if I click Start New Game and I choose Career, obviously it comes up to this career game because we have a custom database installed. So what we're going to do, we're going to remove that one because I want the Grantham Town database. That's the important one. I do not want March update from FM update. Some of these other things are just like real club and competition names, just fixes. These are just other databases that I've downloaded that fix, like, you know, change Man United, you know, Manchester Football Club, whatever it is, back to Manchester United. And competition, make sure you've got all the real competition games. Real media pack, just make sure, you know, media outlets, when they're coming to you for press interviews and stuff in the game, they actually have media like Sky Sports and things like that. And then kits and colours is to do with my logo packs that I use. But the most important one is making sure you have got the Grantham Town database enabled, which has 94,979 changes to the Sports Interactive database. So we click confirm. Okay, so we know that's all set up. So now we can choose game mode. I would recommend you choose original. So you start at the beginning of season. And this will load up the basic setup. Okay. Now, the first thing you're going to want to do when this screen loads the database, might take a while for it to load the database, but there it goes, is obviously active nations and leagues. You're going to want to come in here and drop it down to level 10 divisions and above to load all the English leagues that are available in this custom database. And then you can make some changes to some of this stuff. So, for example, I'm going to remove all of these other leagues. And I'm then going to go back in and I'm going to select, I want Ireland, Northern Ireland, Scotland, and Wales. Basically, I just want to do a nice sort of UK database. Make sure I've got all the leagues playable. That loads a lot of players, look, already. And the estimated game speed is going to be really, really small. I can fix that by changing my approximate player count. Obviously, I've got advanced settings loaded, because obviously I load all this extra stuff. Probably don't really need. But I would recommend that is a good setup. Okay. Settings down here, set as you want. Add players to playable teams if you need to. Disable first window transfer active. You don't want people making transfers in the first window. Disable the player attribute masking if you want to turn that on or off, and obviously prevent the use of the in-game editor if you need to. But basically, if you set that, I mean, I'm going to go back to. I'm going to have a fairly large database, so that's going to, like I say, estimated game speed is going to be very fast on this configuration. On my PC, it might vary from person to person, PC to PC, okay? So I am going to go back and select my custom setup, which is that one, which, like I say, adds a whole bunch of extra stuff. And then I'm just going to hit start game. Okay, you have selected 21 leagues from 5 nations. The game will start in England in July 2023. Yes. So now the game will go through and it's going to set up the database for you. Okay. And it's basically going to set the game up. What I would normally recommend, if you're going to be playing this save a few times, like you're going to have a couple of stabs at it, you know, because you might mess up the first time. You might get sacked, or something goes wrong, or, you know, you make a complete hash of things. One of my big tips to anybody playing Football Manager, if you have a particular setup that you like to use, when you're starting in game, as soon as it's finished setting up the database, setting up the league and cup competitions and doing all this business, make a save. Before you even create a manager, make a save. That way you can always load that anytime you want and start again. Okay? Start again from start a new game with the same settings. So you haven't got to keep going through this process time and time again. You just do it once, save it. So like, for example, I would now go up here, save game, and I would call it start save, just for example. Okay, and every time I load up start save, I'm going to be at this screen, basically having to create a manager and go into game. Now obviously I have got a manager selected because I've already played Football Manager 24, so I'm just going to use the same manager. Because of how I've set up my manager's profile, it's automatically going to come in here and pick Grantham Town as the team to manage. But obviously, if it doesn't, you just need to come into England, come down to the regionals. We are going to be in League Division 1 East. Select Grantham. Go through, do your managerial style. Hit start playing. And then typically, when you get to this screen, where you have been hired, what I would normally then recommend, going in here, save game again, and calling it what you want. So, Grantham save 01. And we can check everything is up to date and perfect in a moment. So we're going to come in here. There's Mr. Rawdon, Chairman Mr. Rawdon, welcoming us to the club. I do need to fix one little thing with this database. Again, because of the logo and graphics packs that I use and the skin that I use, it makes things a little bit on the dark side. But I can fix that in a moment. I'm not going to have an intra-squad friendly. I'm going to have meetings every 2 weeks. That's how I prefer to do it. And we start. I guess Mr. Bland has been released. Mr. Bland has been released. Poor old Mr. Bland. Poor old Louis. You can sign him back. Typically what I tend to do, if I've got the... Right, I want to go in here. I want to change that for something that colour. So now I can see things on buttons that are different colours. Support profile, club vision. I'm just going to accept that. Paul tends to be pretty decent. Players in their final year of their contracts, those that are on contracts. Weirdly, although we don't have any players actually like on proper contracts in real life, some of these players do start the game. It's just how when the database is generated, it does some random things. It does. Some things are a bit random, especially at this level where data isn't fully entered, you know, by an individual person who's gone and researched every little specific detail. You know, compared to say like Man United, where, you know, every part of that club has been actually like fact checked and every single player has been done. At this level, things are a little bit more random in nature. A lot of the players tend to have random potentials and abilities which the game fills in as it generates the game. So, for example, you know, I could load up a player. I could load up Jonas, for example. Goalkeeper Jonas, who is Polish, because I fixed it in my database tweak. So Jonas has the correct nationality. But basically, Jonas's stats and his attributes could all be different from when you start the game, because it's a bit random. So every time you start the game, every time you create a save, it can these player attributes, player statistics and stuff like that can vary, which is why I suggest doing that save before you even create your manager. That way you can reload the game every time you want to play it, every time you want to start a new career, and you get the same stats every time. So, very important to do that. But yeah, all the players are here. Staff-wise, obviously we know we've just had Louis get the sack because we've took over as manager. So poor old Louis has been sacked, but there are ways around that. You can do that. I mean, I've made my own database after this, where I have Louis starting as assistant manager. For example, I have Dan as coach, and then I've also added in like Andy, the goalkeeping coach. I've added in Bruno as physio because they're missing from this database. But I've added them in myself and given them my own stats and stuff. But I don't share that database because obviously that is my own tweaks. It's not official. Whereas all this information that you see is generated by Sports Interactive, who make Football Manager. So this is all there. So if anybody has got any issues with the data in the database or the game in this save in this database, you need to contact Sports Interactive and report it, because obviously they need to get it right for future versions of the game and for future, updates. And like I say, this is what's been generated by them. It's not got no personal or influenced by like me or anything like that. This is purely as Sports Interactive, the creators of Football Manager, and their extensive team of researchers have put together the data. So like I say, if anyone is slightly offended or has a problem with anything in this database, take it up with them. I'm not at fault. But yes, we have got Harry Wood. We have got Sam Hooper. We have got Mr. Chesterfield, Sam Hooper. We have got Bradley Munns. Like I say, I've got photos because I use a face pack. There are obviously players missing from that. Ryan doesn't have one, for example. We're going to need to work on that. I would like to get a face pack put together for all the Grantham Town players, staff, directors, etc., and do my own face pack that I can then make available for people to be able to download and install in their games, so that then you all have proper. Because obviously some of the faces are a bit weird. Like for example, Caesar. I think that somebody's taken that off a program, and he's not even looking at the camera. Looking, his nose has been chopped off. So yeah, it'd be nice to get all of everything, synchronized and looking the same. Same quality, same high standard, and everything. But there we go. That is literally how you create that's how you download the Football Manager database, which allows you to play as Grantham Town. This is as I say, the database I've used every year. I've used obviously a variation of it in my Football Manager 23 career save that I've been doing for the last year here on the YouTube channel. This database is the one I've been using in all my Football Manager 24 streams that I've done in the last couple of months. And like I say, now we've actually got proper squad and staff update thanks to Sports Interactive. So now you can start your saves with the current squad, current team, and have at it and see if you can do a slightly better job of getting the team out of the relegation zone. Because that's our objective in the first year. Paul's objective for the first year is to avoid relegation. That's what we have to do, folks. Avoid relegation. And then over 5 years, over the 5-year vision, work on trying to get the team promoted. So, I hope you've enjoyed this video. Hope you enjoyed this guide. Like I say, link to download the database is in the description of the video. If you have enjoyed the video and you have any, you want to say thanks or anything, obviously use the comment section below the video. If you do notice any data issues with anything in this database, again, use the comment section below the video to put in what you've noticed, and we'll try and get that fixed and fed back to the relevant people so they can get it properly updated for the future. Especially things like Jonas, who had got the wrong nationality. I mean, that's a big thing to change, but thankfully I've fixed it in this database. But again, that needs to go back to Sports Interactive so they can fix that on their side. So whenever they do an update in the future, it's the same. Anyway, thank you for watching the video. Take care of yourselves, ladies and gents. Stay safe, and I'll see you all again soon. Bye-bye.